Your essential question for today is, how do we solve exponential equations that have fractions? So exponential equations that have fractions. Let's take a look at the first example, and our first example is 1 over 625 to the 2 minus 2r equals 25. Now, for this one, if you notice, I have a fraction on the left-hand side, 1 over 625. 1 over 625. Now, what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to just go ahead and still use my chart, but what I'm going to do is, on the left-hand side, I know that I'm going to have whatever my exponent is, it's going to be a negative number. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to look and see where 625 and 25 show up on the same row. And I do notice that they show up on the where the 5 is. That's right. So you see that this is 625. That would technically be, this would technically be 5 to the 4th. But because this is a fraction, it's not going to be 5 to the positive 4. It's just going to be 5 to the negative 4. That's the only difference. So you're only going to put a negative there if there's a fraction. For example, over here, this is not a fraction. So I'm just going to leave it as 5 squared, not 5 to the negative 2, just 5 squared. That's the only thing that's different. You're still going to do it the same way. You're still going to distribute and get negative 8 plus 8r is equal to 2. Then you get a plus 8 to both sides and get 8r is equal to 10. And then if you type in your calculator 10 divided by 8, you should get your final answer of 5 over 4. So the only thing you need to remember if you have a fraction in the equation is just remember it's going to be a negative exponent, but still use the chart to help you rewrite it. That's it. All right, let's take a look at another example. So for this one, notice that it says 1 over 216 to the 3x minus 2 equals 36. So again, not every problem is going to have a negative exponent, only whenever you see a fraction, just like this. So this lets me know I'm going to have a negative exponent. So 216, if I look at my chart, 216 is going to be 6 to the 3rd, but because this is a fraction, it's going to be 6 to the negative 3, and so then I can just simply rewrite this. 36 is going to be 6 to the 2nd power, and so now I can cross out the 6's and distribute, and I'll get negative 9x plus 6 is equal to 2. All right, now we're just going to keep on solving this for x, so I'm going to subtract 6, and that'll give me negative 9x is equal to a negative 4, and then just divide by negative 9, and you would get a positive 4 over 9. But that will be your answer. So just remember, for these problems, the only thing that's addition is that make sure you rewrite a fraction with a negative exponent. All right, take a look at this one, 1 over 6. This one's interesting, 1 over 6, because of the way it is written. I've got 1 over 6 to the k plus 2 is equal to 36. So what's interesting, guys, is y'all see this 6 right here and this 36. If you notice, this 6 is really just 6 to the 1st, right? But because this is a fraction, it's got to be 6 to the negative 1. So that's the only thing I want to show you for that one. 36 will be 6 squared. So now the 6's can cross out. And so distribute, you get negative 1k minus 2 is equal to 2. Then just add 2 to both sides. You get negative 1k is equal to 4. And divide by negative 1, you get a negative 4 is your answer. So guys, if there's never an exponent to use, remember it's understood 1 right there. But because that being a fraction, it had to be a negative 1, not a positive 1. But again, as long as you know to make sure that any fractions you rewrite with negative exponents, you'll be fine. Just remember that, to rewrite any fractions with negative exponents. And then just do the same stuff you've been doing for the rest of these problems, getting the same base, crossing stuff out, distributing if you need to, and then solving for whatever letter you might need. All right, the last example of these types of problems looks similar, but I just changed the numbers a little bit. So let's take a look at this one. I've got 1 over 27 to the 3b minus 1 equals 243. Again, this is a fraction, so I know I'm going to rewrite this as a negative exponent, but this 27, I'm going to rewrite that as 3 to the 3rd. 27 is 3 to the 3rd, but I know that because it's a fraction, it's going to be 3 to the negative third, and so that's 3b minus 1. 243, I would rewrite that as 3 to the 5th power. The 3's would cross out now, and then I'm going to distribute. I'm going to get negative 9b plus 3 is equal to 5, and then just go from here. Subtract 3, so you get negative 9b is equal to 2, and then divide by negative 9, and you get your answer of negative 2 over 9, and that would be your answer for that one.